Any ticket conditions?
Testing,
F,
testing,
not
1,
to
2,
white or
testing,
red
1, 2,
on
3,
this,
testing,
including onto the
testing,
field of
1,
play
2,
or
3,
at
4.
other spectators. G, not to enter the field of play or its surroundings without
minutes to kick off. We're going to run through the full Melbourne team. Big game here at the Jack Edwards Reserve. Oakleigh Cannons versus Port Melbourne Sharks. Running through the team here. Let's go with number 14, Alec Bretveski. Number 9, we have Aidan Brown. Number 11, we've got Liston Diaz. Number 10, Nicholas Dipp, and also the captain as well. Number 5, Oliver Dureski. Number 1, which is the goalkeeper as well, is Alexander Kandavalian. Number 2, we have Mark Latsis. Number 6, Anthony Levan. Number 8, Maker. Number 3, Owen Maguski. Number 4, Riyad Muleti. Number 7, Diamo Ferro. Number 23, we have the goalkeeper as well as a spare as well, Luka Vronic. Number 12, Margot Lakoski. Running through with the Oakleigh Cannons as well, moving across to that one there as well. Number 2, Brody Boyce. Number 22, Matthew Dench. Number 1, Nicholas Fraley, also the goalkeeper as well. Number 10, Joe Guest, is also the captain as well. Number 4, which is Jordan Hall. Number 3, Connor Hansen. Number 47, Asad Kesivovic. Number 9, we have Alex Summon. Number 14, Hisley Sinclair. Number 15, Campbell Strong. Number 5, we have Jacob Trapp.
It's Friday Night Football here in Oakleigh. It's the hometown Cannons and Port. Bottom, a point away from the Melbourne Knights above them, and a point above St Albans below them. Although there's a bit of interesting news from across the state on that regard with that fixture. They're involved in Olympic Village. A nearly 2-goal lead for St Albans makes this one a pivotal fixture for Port. It's Friday Night Football here on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. Oliver Walker-Peel and Josh Byrne here with you. Josh, welcome to you. This should be a lot of fun. And just to tidy up on that, it was a 2-goal lead for St Albans. Heidelberg have since pegged one back. But even still, with St Albans winning, this seems a big game for Port Melbourne.
Yeah, sure is. Thanks, Ollie. Port Melbourne, new coach in, got a handy win against South 2 weeks ago, and a much improved performance against Avondale last week, only going down 1-0, and probably could have snuck away with a point. But the new coach Max is set himself a challenge to keep the team up, and he set himself on the way. Gully coming off a comfortable 3-1 win against Green Gully last week as well, and as usual just plodding along with the star power they have. And as Ollie said, a loss of Knowles, yes, but Guest is on gold medal form. I'd be putting that straight out there.
Absolutely. To the team news, there's a change of pace. Brody Boyce in for Cam McGill, which will likely pave the way for a bit of a tactical shift for Chris Taylor. Mark Glatsis takes the spot of Daniel Serra, so one fullback for another is rather like for like. Underway from Jack Edwards. Oakleigh with a good record here, as we mentioned off the top, against Port Melbourne. Can Max Skadowski and co put pay to that? Poor back pass and listen, and chance for Port Melbourne in behind. Delano Ferro, who was trying to make a way in behind. And misfire from Oakleigh in possession. Delano Ferro was almost in. Nick Dibb being pulled back. He then himself looked to be pulling Matt Dench back. All the way back to the goalkeeper goes Oliver Jankolovsky in his 9th appearance of the campaign in the league. Is that a play by Mark Latsis, the former Melbourne Victory NPL talent? Spent time to Kingston in the recent years. Campbell Strong driving forward, but one will be pulled back. Found there Matt Dench as Connor Hampson spots that one down for Joe Guest. We've seen distribution from Luka Romic be a bit tidier than that. He had a battle run at the beginning of the campaign for the Globes with Alex Condoli in his fair and square won that battle. Strong for Brody Boyce, striding forwards. They managed to keep it. Here is Campbell Strong, former New Zealand Youth International, giving that one away. This is the Chris Taylor blueprint, isn't it? Particularly playing against sides you come in favourites against, happy to keep the ball and try and draw them out a little bit. We had Miet is back there. Melbourne, it's clear. Brown. Boyce down the line. Just drifting through to Campbell Strong, but Mitchell send that one away. It feels like, Josh, this is what we're going to see across the game. Port Melbourne back defending a lot of the time, and Oakleigh happy to play the possession. Yeah,
it's CT all over it. He be happy to let them sit in their two banks of four. Port Melbourne just got that opportunity to try and break on the counter attack, just like this. With Marcus, great ball forward, asking questions, but they'll happily sit back. I seen a couple of Max's games before. He's happy to play on that counter attack. They did it well against South as well. With Diaz ready and raring to go on the bench. He Dench couldn't chase that one down. With the likes of Diaz on the bench, they've got the firepower on the bench, and has raised eyebrows from both of us that he hasn't started yet.
Not being one, listen, Diaz to have a consistent, clean bill of health. You just wonder if that is to arise, if he is to get a run in the starting 11. He's got 6 goals from 5 games, which is quite staggering in and of itself. One of those coming against Avondale right at the start of the campaign, his former club, of course. Sinclair rolling forwards. Salmon prodding it out wide. On the overlap, Hampson in towards the middle. Cleared as far as Campbell Strong. Was going well off target, and in the end, Owen McCloskey getting something on it to get it through to Luka Romic. Decent crowd building here at Oakleigh. It took a little while for some of the patrons to come across, but they have made their way over. No one populating the almost ready stand on the far side of the ground that is nearing completion. Delano Pharaoh. Kept alive. Good play there by Aidan Brown to win his team a throw. I tell you what, as good as it looks on camera, a camera view of that stand will never do it justice. It looks unbelievable. The team building that have done an unreal job. As Sinclair looks over the top, Salmon was making the run in behind. Never quite got through. It's Delano Pharaoh. McCloskey here on the Port Melbourne left. Can he shape and across? He looked low. Easy end for Jordan Hall to deal with. Formerly of Melbourne City, having his old club got a big game this weekend. The A-League Men's Grand Final. Sold out. Amy Parker waits both City and Melbourne victory for a Melbourne derby in the A-League Men's competition to decide the season. I'm sure Jordan Hall would love to be out there representing his former club. Latsis forwards. Intelligent run there from Nick Dibb, but the ball never got through, and away go Oakleigh. Simovic fouled from behind. Driven away by Riyad Mied. Man who holds both French and Algerian citizenship. North Sunshine as Hampson looks central. On the target. With Englishman trying to work something for Oakleigh. Now with Dench. Who feeds Connor Hampson. Who tries to dig out a cross. Did it well towards the back post. And McCloskey tries to bring it away. He'll be caught on it. Early waves of pressure from Oakleigh. Which, to be honest, is no surprise. Nice by Hampson. Rolling field from Dench towards the edge of the box. Opportunity opening up. Deflected on the way there. But Kingsley Sinclair gets the Cannons off to the races. Inside the opening 10 minutes. A bit of fortune. Oakleigh won't mind. And it's the Cannons who fire first.
Yeah, textbook Oakleigh there. Out to the wing, quick cut ball, cut across, and Sinclair fires it home. Yes, a little bit of a help, but it was definitely goal bound. And Luka Womich in the Port goal was left helpless. The early pressure from them is good. Oakleigh knocking the ball around with confidence is what CT would have asked for them. Put that defensive block under pressure from the start, and they can go again, and maybe even turn the ball over here early and straight back on the attack again. But Port managing to hold on to the ball onto that far side. As Ollie said, that this ground is going to be one of the premier grounds once that is finished. I'll be first to put my hand up to commentating that one. And it's Cancell's building it, and it's ahead of schedule apparently, so they may even be able to play a couple of games, regular season games, so which is going to be nice to see.
Just quickly on Kingsley Sinclair, a bit of surprise for me that that's his first goal of this season. Got 3 of them last year. This game 49 for him tonight in the NPL Men's Victoria competition, so all being well, there'll be a milestone for him next week. Melbourne Knights will be the opponent should he get through this game and play in that one. It's the day before King's birthday, that one. A 7 PM start on a Sunday night, which is rather rare. But in the present, it's the New Zealander with the early blow. And even now, you'd think that would spark a bit of a change in how Port Melbourne will go about things, with the Sharks now having to chase the game. Hampson tries to look down the line. Played by Latsis. Guest and Salmon. Over towards the right-hand side, not a bad idea. The cogs always turning in that Oakleigh midfield. They can make it towards the corner flag. You couldn't do anything else but send it out of play. Flicker over the shoulder. Hampson. Strong involved, and Sinclair. Feels like it'll be rinse and repeat for Oakleigh. Get it forwards, force Port Melbourne to make a clearance, win it back and do it all again. That's the way it's shaped up inside the opening quarter of an hour. Hall, Salmon. Cannon's just trying to draw Oakleigh out here. Guest Salmon to work it forwards. Just out of reach of Joe Guest. Mentioned earlier, Josh, he's in gold medal form. Did win the award back in 2019, so he's no stranger to having that around his neck. With 12 goals, 6 assists too this season. That won't do his chances any harm. He's comfortably over a goal contribution a game this season, and he'd be in rarefied air of NPLMVIC Victoria players to have done that.
Yeah, and the saw on social media the question keeps getting asked of when's an A-League club going to come knocking? It's he's doing it year in, year out now, and is someone going to be brave enough to give him a go? He's yes, he's now into his 30s, but he's still got a couple more good years in him and in those legs. Give him a go is what I'd be saying. As the ball comes forward for Port, and they get a rare side of Oakleigh penalty box action. As they now get a chance to whip it in. As a tall timber comes up from the back. And it'll be the usual combination for Nicholas Dibb to swing it in. Oakleigh back in numbers, not a single Oakleigh player pushed forward as they play short. Nice routine. Max is all about his routines. It's swung in and easily dealt with by Trapp, and Oakleigh can break. This is what they can do so well. Sinclair drives him forward. Looking for that back post with Salmon, and just didn't have enough on it. And Port can try and have a bit of a reprieve and hold on to the ball, but Oakleigh are going to press him straight away. And it's a turnover, and a chance for Port to try and take some pressure off. Into the 17th minute, and it's be daring to say the possession stats will be well into the 80s for Oakleigh. Porter's barely had a touch of the ball. A bit of pressure relieving here. They get a ball forward. Track gets a good call from his keeper, Nick Feely. Sinclair always busy, always happy to come collect the ball. A little slip, almost gives them the chance. Fortunate. He definitely can't blame the ground. The pitch is in immaculate condition. Has been for a couple of seasons now. They've really started to look after this ground and make it a premier ground in this southeastern suburbs. Lovely darts past one. Maker. collides with him. But Jock is happy to play into the edge of the box, and Nicholas Dibb is there to play it away, and they can turn and tackle again.
Mentioned Jock, that's the referee, Jock Quartermain. Sometimes the officiating crew can fly under the radar. Jock is supreme talent. One of the younger referees this year. Latsis took it down well. Yankolovsky forward towards halfway. Strong went in on the stretch. No foul. Play will be stopped. Just check on the well-being of Anthony Laban. Melbourne Victory fans, Melbourne Victory diehards probably, might remember his involvement in the Australia Cup run that was ultimately successful. Had a hand in the earlier rounds. As Dench rode the challenge. I'm not sure what he's going to put that one down to when he has a look on Monday. If it's a bobble on the pitch or just bad control. In any case, behind for a goal kick. So it's safe to say that for those who have come to the ground here tonight, this game so far has gone as much to script as they were probably expecting, particularly for the Cannons contingent. I suppose it always helps though to have the early goal. Validates your spells of possession. You were mentioning the possession earlier, Josh. We don't have the exact stats in front of us, but I think the eye test does a fine job of telling you that Oakleigh have had much more of the ball than Port Melbourne have. You don't need a degree in football tactics to sort that one out. As Laban rides the challenge. Flares it wide for McCloskey. Went in early. Didn't clear Jordan Hall at the front post. Dibb. That's his Dibb. Yankolovsky. Throws ball forward, blocked once and then twice. Carried here by Salmon. Well to keep him accountable. Hampson went in. A little bit rash there on Dibb. And the yellow card he'll receive will attest to that.
Yeah, just a quarter lunging in there. It's nothing too sinister. Just caught off his feet. And Dibb not too happy with the bit of treatment he's received recently. He's got a couple of fouls on him, but he seems to be up and about fine, so he'll happily continue. It's an early booking. It's got a bit of time to survive. We might see a later change in the game as Guest pings that ball out far side. Asking a bit. Kumovic out of that far side. Salmon doing pressing with Guest as his help. And they've boxed him in here. And very nicely played out from Port. But it's heavy touch from Brown. And he recovers well in the end. Salmon hasn't done too much. That's could have ended poorly for him, but he's come back after a suspension and done quite well. Bit of pushing and shoving in the box. It's happy to continue. Sinclair. Sinclair's been busy again. Now to this camera side to Dench. Puts his Tratt under pressure there, but he's dealt with easily with going back to Feely. With a back four like this that is so comfortable on the ball, it makes life so much easier as Dench can get in behind. There's a little slip there. And get in into the edge of the box. Lovely turn and play on brilliant wavelength that they have together. Salmon and Guest as a Port come flooding forward. Very well defended in the end from Boyce. They can make it. Has a hit. Oh, and as you can tell from the crowd, that was closer than it probably looked. Feely will happily see that fly over the bar.
Not a bad effort though from Maker. He's only scored 2 goals in his NPL men's Victoria career. Got one last year. Generated a 5-year wait. Got a tradesman behind the goal. I wonder if he'll be invoicing for overtime. Playing the role of ball boy tonight. Yeah, it's all under a bit of pressure there, but he got it across to Jankolovsky just about. Play out from the back at your peril, considering this Cannon's press. Salmon able to eventually hold the ball up. Tratt. For Hampson, one of 2 former Curzon Ashton players in this Oakleigh 11 alongside Joe Guest. And as well too in his team of throw.
That's a warning, team warning. Don't do that again, don't do that again. And then 5 minutes later, I land head first.
Given away by Salmon. On a Pharaoh. Gets the ball first. Brown. Laban. Having it, losing it. Guest. Over towards the right hand side. Kasimovic in space. The edge of the box. Tries to cross it in. He had an avenue to goal that he elected not to use. And in the end, came unstuck for Oakleigh, but it could have been so much more.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, we're going for that as a cross or a shot, because it was head height, no one near it, slashed at it, and it must be a bit of jury on the ground with Dench and couple going over. It's close to it, but it's getting there.
I was just saying cross maybe to save face for Asad Kasimovic. Maybe it looks better on his behalf if I go with cross. That was my first thought, but only he'll know.
Now I'll go ambitious shot. It was an attempted shot. Went for power rather than placement. There's a little coming together there. Kasimovic finds himself down. He'll happily get up. Been fruitful with Dench down this wing. Might be a little bit hands in the back. No. Jock says no. Salmon's through. Finish. Lovely finish. Falls kindly for him. Alex Salmon swats it past. Womic couldn't do much about it. That makes it 2. Salmon, after a couple of weeks off with a suspension, back on the score sheet. Takes his tally to 6 for the season, and he'll be happy with that. Of just 12 games. And it's running to script, as CT would probably be saying. Mind you, round 3 earlier in the season, it was 2-0 to Oakleigh. So we can finish it there, and they'll be happy with that, like for like. It's makes it a longer way for Port to get back into the game. And with the one foray into the box and the one shot over is all they've had to write in the first 30 minutes of play.
Maker striding forwards to try and roll it in behind. Delano Ferro was there. He was crowded out of it. McBand stepping back in. Port Melbourne look for the response. McCloskey stealing behind. Well, didn't get through. Ferro putting Jordan Hall under pressure. How the play it goes. But that is vintage Alex Salmon, that goal. Just the wherewithal to take a touch, take a breath, and pick the corner out. That's one of many reasons why he's been so revered in this league for so long across his stints with both Green Gully and Oakleigh. Goal number 79 in Victorian football. That one there. As Hampson advancing forward, might have a look, couldn't keep it down. Ball always rising there. Would have been a rather tough task to keep down. Ran forwards. Nice from Nick Dibb. Let's find Latsis. There's a foul. This one's going to come back. Nicholas Dibb foul just back of halfway. His first season, Port Melbourne, after helping Preston back to the Victorian top flight. 17 appearances in VPL 1 last year. Michalovsky gets it back from Latsis. Melbourne almost caught on it, but fine enough in the end. We haven't yet to get away from the pressure and work it forwards. Latsis trying to get there. He did well. It's behind viral deflection for a Sharks corner.
You guys are young adults. Hey, no. Fuck. Now. I'll crack your arms.
Again, they'll take it short. Nick did with the cross towards the back post. A couple of poor plays went up at it. And a lack of communication from a couple of Sharks at the back post. You'd have thought it would be best for one to leave it for the other, but our players having their wires crossed there. And Kolovsky from the ban in a bit of space. It's the benefit of a ricochet, and then look for Pharaoh. It's a poor ball. There's been space open up for Port Melbourne on a couple of occasions, and space they haven't been able to make use of. Maker, the ban. Trying a bit of fancy feet. McCloskey feint across. The ban eventually did up towards Brown. Jumped by Jacob Tratt. And Dench to bring it away. Oh, cheap giveaway. McCloskey into vacant space. It's Owen McCloskey into the box. The shot so tame. Advancing forward into the space left by Brodie Boyce. Poor giveaway, and Port Melbourne can't make Oakleigh pay.
Golden opportunity, and caught in two minds. It looked like a bit there. He didn't know whether to cut it across or shoot himself, and did a bit of nothing. And Nick Feely would be happy to see that roll straight into his arms, as LeBurn was probably there for the cutback and a little nip across, but he had a shot instead. Boyce saw a relief of there. Dench gets fouled, and they not in any rush to take it. He's told to go forward, get back into his spot. As Track strolls forward to take it. He's going to happily recycle it. Haven't heard much from either bench. New coach Max hasn't. He's very analytical. He'll watch and tell his players what to do afterwards. Stench, into the box, cuts it back, and it's dealt with the front post. There's Dibbs, lovely little back heel to try and get out of the danger, and he receives it again. Tries to play it around his feet, just gives it away. Try to do too much with it in the end. Sinclair settles on the ball. Ball in, lovely turn. Beats two, couldn't be the third. Dib, he's been very busy today. Lovely ball forward. Asking a bit of him. Well defended, but couldn't get anything on the end. Takes him on, beats him to the edge. Try to turn back and beat him again, it looked like. Nice Port finding some space. Well, fortunate ricochet out. As Dib looks back post. Dealt with. Guest. Came to a little push, but nothing there. Salmon has to come back and help. On the far side, looking to whip the ball in. Does. Trat gets a lucky ricochet bounce off his own knee, looked like. And Port Melbourne probing and starting to make some headway into the Oakleigh penalty area.
McCloskey driving towards the byline. Kasumovic back doing the defending. Going over there, Brody Boyce for a Port Melbourne free kick, or an Oakleigh free kick. Port Melbourne giving it away. Moving towards half time, and I said earlier that Max Gadowski was a bit of an analytics coach and not as boisterous as some others that we might have seen in this league, but I wonder if he'll have to dial up the vocal cords a few notches to try and get across to his team. Just go around the grounds quickly. Heidelberg still 2-1 down against St Albans. Dandenong City hosting the Dandenong Derby. It's 0-0 against the Thunder. Hume City, the goal up against Green Gully from Broadmeadows. The NPL Men's Victoria competition. Some good games of football tonight.
Shut up. Yeah, it's still lit.
Here, Oakleigh will be happy with how this one's going. Trats. And over halfway. Taken down smartly enough by Salmon, but he couldn't keep hold. Down on the turn. Just in field for Dib and overcooked by Latsis. Strong. Salmon, and guess what a first time ball it was from Alex Salmon. Guess pass wasn't as good. Sent forward for Pharaoh. And you sense that's the way in for Port Melbourne, if they can take the ball back and then try and catch Coca-Cola on the break. That's been the way they've done it a couple of times now, but or at least tried to. But if they can tidy that up, maybe that's the way forward. As a crossing from the right, Salmon is there. Got it goalwards via a flick off the Port Melbourne body for a corner. But conversely, that's how quick it can turn. Port Melbourne thinking attack, and Oakleigh win it back and go forward themselves.
Yeah, it's followed that script most of the game. And Port have troubled them on occasions. So there'll be something for Max and his coaching staff to go into half-time with. Biting a slip as Guest swings the ball in. It's not his best. Not the best corner from him. I've seen him score already direct from a corner. There's a couple of fireworks go off in the background. On that far side.
Whoever's setting those fireworks off must be big fans of Joe Guest. Or Alex Salmon, one of the two. I've not decided which. So, fireworks adjacent to Jack Edwards, and some here too for those clad in navy blue. Bit of an unlucky on there for Mark Latsis. Laban caught on it. Salmon, edge of the box, looking for the corner. And you could sense he was about to tee one up as soon as he got the ball there, Alex Salmon. But when he did, couldn't find the corner. As Brown makes a run down the line. Closely watched by Jordan Hall. Maker trying something, didn't quite work. Stratton Hall combining a couple of former A-League men's players at the heart of the Oakleigh defence. Mentioned earlier Jordan Hall at Melbourne City. Jacob Tratz at Wellington and Sydney FC and Western United. 82 appearances for him, including 10 last season for Western. Don O'Farrow picking up a pocket of space, driving forward, a heavy touch. His progress well stunted by Jordan Hall. And there's space for Oakleigh to move into here. They will via Dench, who has Salmon to his left. Here is Alex Salmon. He tries to pull it back. It's blocked at the front post. Hampson attacking this. Driving into the corner via a horror moment for Luka Romitz. Hardly broke stride running at the ball. Connor Hampson. And via a bit of a goalkeeping blunder, finds the corner for Oakleigh's third on half-time.
In Romich's defence, I will say, may have not seen it until it was far too late. Not a strong enough hand, and is that curtains for them with 3-0. Haven't looked too troubled. Port have got a mountain to climb, and it's a hammer blow moments before half-time. Can't see the boards of what it's going to be changed to, but couldn't say there'd be much added time, and that is a nail in the coffin. You'd be saying going into half-time 3-0 down is a big ask and a big question, as you might hear another firework pops off in the background.
Wasn't Salmon or guessed it was Connor Hampson. There we go, we worked it out. But a couple of goal-scoring droughts broken tonight. I mentioned earlier on that Kingsley Sinclair scored his first for the year. Connor Hampson has just done likewise. Somewhat coincidental that both of them had 3 goals in their NPL Men's Victoria careers coming into tonight. That Oakleigh's third for the night. 3 goals last season, I should say, for both Sinclair and Hampson. Not in their careers, that's Hampson's 11th. As Dib looks in behind, Delon and Farrow for the instant reply. And the offside flag is up. Latzis had fired into an empty net, but the flag had already gone up. So just to tidy up the stat I wanted to use, both 3 each last season, rather than their career. Sinclair had 3 on his career coming in, as we move into the first of 2 added minutes. Josh, you were right on that one. Thank goodness someone's paying attention. Boyce sends that one into the nearly finished grandstand. Jamaica going over. Jock Quartermain says that's enough for the half. And Oakleigh are sitting pretty at the break. 3 goals, a couple of firsts for this year from Kingsley Sinclair and Connor Hampson. That's not true for Alex Salmon, who got the second, the one that sandwiches the other 2. He got his 6th for the season to make it 2 before Connor Hampson, just before the interval, made it 3. It's been a half symptomatic of Port Melbourne's 2025 campaign. Rock bottom of the league, and it doesn't look like that's going to change. Welcome back to Jack Edwards Reserve. The hometown Oakleigh Cannons running riot over Port Melbourne in the first 45 minutes. Goals to Sinclair, Salmon and Hampson. Part of the Oakleigh onslaught in the first half, Port Melbourne don't really know where to look, and they haven't really had any answers, and those chances that they have had, they've spurned, they've been few and far between. But it's an absolute mountain to climb and then some for the Sharks if they're to take anything from this. It looks as though they are to make some changes at the break, which isn't unsurprising given the scoreline. It's a question of who, and when you see who's walking over to the halfway line to come on in Liston Diaz, it is really no surprise. He will be one of two. Jonathan Vikertzis will be part of a Port Melbourne double switch here. We'll see Mark Latsis come off alongside Anthony Laban. And Josh, given how the first half went, you feel as though changes had to be made, and changes have been made from Port Melbourne at the break.
Yeah, with the form of Diaz at the moment, he could probably do it on his own, but mountain to climb for them. Diaz will give him a chance and a sniff with his current goal scoring record of 6 in 5 games. Most teams will take that, so let's see if he can be the game changer that he has been so far.
He is Port Melbourne's top goal scorer in the league, Liston Diaz. He's played less than half of the available minutes this season for Port Melbourne. Thrown in short, Salmon. Riyad Mayet. Opposite number 4 to Jordan Hall. One of them's had to do a fair bit more than the other. Salmon with a back flick. Good chance here for Joe Guest. It was low and not quite the fervour and power that we're used to seeing off the boot of Oakleigh's number 10.
Yeah, on his weaker foot. He saw an opportunity but just couldn't take it, and the pressure's on there from almost a turnover. He slid in and he's hurt him, but Jock's allowed it to play as Port Melbourne get to burst forward here into the box, and fabulous header from Brown. Gets his head to it, and it's again a sniff of opportunity as Dench in the back players back up, still limping, but he's up and joining back into play, which is good to see.
I'll tell you what is slightly throwing me off, Josh. You on a first name basis with all of the referees, calling all the referees by their first name. You, out of anybody, has every right to do it, given your involvement with the refereeing fraternity, but it just takes me a little while to adjust. I don't think I could get away with that.
Jock is great, and he's got a healthy competition with his brother Will. It's always interesting when I used to work with both of them to get very different opinions.
I thought you were going to say healthy competition from you then. It's moving forward strong, rolled it across, they're queuing up here, Oakleigh, looking for a fourth. It's a low shot and a good second save from Romic to deny Campbell strong what would have been a first NPLMVIC Victoria goal for him. Cross back into the middle, punched away by Romic, as far as Sinclair. Rolls it left, Hampson left-footed into the middle, might break for Sad Kasumovic. Swing and a miss at that one. Salmon to the back post. That one overcooked. Still not dealt with. Hampson to send it back in. Not too far from the top corner. Might have been labelled for it, if not for a deflection behind for a corner. Just to catch you up on goals around the league, Heidelberg have found an equaliser. Sabit Noor with a wonderful hit against St Albans. Human Green Gullies at 2 apiece as well. Dandenong City and Dandenong Thunder at 0-0, but the hosts there down to 10. This corner driven in. Den's trying the flick on, it bobbles around, and Maker able to clear inside the 6-yard box. Maker on the swivel. It's Riyad Mayet. McCloskey arcing one forward, not a bad idea, and it's almost a karate kick flick from Liston Diaz. He's probably missed the audition time to be in the new Karate Kid, I reckon. But not into a bad impersonation, if that's what he was trying. Salmon just couldn't quite get on underneath his spell. He then fouled Riyad Mayet. And a free kick here for Melbourne. Towards the middle, looking for Liston Diaz, who has been a presence since coming on. Former Victory Academy Player of the Year many moons ago now, Liston Diaz. Won that particular award back in 2017. Down the line. Number 4, the Kurtzis. Long ball from the Kurtzis. Looking to maybe try and spring Liston Diaz, who then slipped as Boyce cleared. Kasumich left it. Kloski getting to it first before Boyce could. Oakleigh will deal with that though. Great first touch from Mayet. McCloskey looking to combine with Nick Dibb. Boyce aware to the potential danger. Or McCloskey might need some new spikes in there as Maker wins it back. Nice flick for Nick Dibb. Port Melbourne getting a foothold 52 minutes into this game. Forward ball looking for Brown. He was caught on his heels. He's going behind for a goal kick.
Oakleigh happy to let them have a bit more of the ball in this second half. It's it would have been a interesting conversation from the coaching staff of Port Melbourne to how they attack this second half. Diaz can't be all on one shoulder of Diaz, so somebody else needs to step up. Where Oakleigh CT would have been saying the same please. They don't need to put too much pressure on going forward, but he does like a good goal difference and they've got a bit of ground to make up on Avondale and Hume, who have been banging in the goals, and Heidelberg as well have been banging in the goals as well, up in the top 6. So a bit of ground to make up, especially after a 3-0 loss to Avondale just 2 weeks ago. It's any man's ball in the middle there. There's a lunging tackle. He skips past 2. Receives it back from Guest. Lovely flick. Wasn't quite on the same wave. Now this is probably Port's best chance to go forward. He's on these counter attacks. And they can't fizzle out like that. His voice tries to swing it in, and we'll be happy enough with a corner in the end. Just couldn't get on the same wavelength in the end. We've guessed.
You mentioned about Oakleigh making up ground. Of course, on the table, they're set to make up 2 points on Heidelberg, but that's considering Heidelberg don't find a late winner, which they may as well do. Corner to come in. Headed high into the air, not away. Luka Romic claimed the ball, but over the byline, so it'll be another corner. And just to take you around the grounds again, the Dandenong Thunder are a goal up on Dandy City in the Dandy Derby. So, bragging rights maybe going the way of those from George Andrews as another corner sent in. Bobbles around again, shouts for handball. Nothing doing according to Jock Quartermain, and away it goes. Ball from Guest. Yeah, first back. Receive the header from Mitch Strachewski. Boyce. Ball forwards from Strong. Asad Kasumovic is there. He sends one in, but a bit too much on it. So much so that Matt Dench couldn't pick up the pieces. We're having more debates whether it was a cross or a shot. Is that what we're doing here? I promise you we're not going to scrutinise Asad Kasumovic's every decision for the rest of the evening. I'm not quite sure I'm in a position to scrutinise one, given his football ability versus mine, or lack thereof in my case. That's a discussion for another day. Nick Dibb from deep. Rolled forward by the Curtis. Looking for Delano Farah, was snuffed out well at the back. Very smartly done by Jacob Tratt, who has made a living out of that. On for Boyce. Wider again for Asad Kasumovic. He tries a knock and run job on Riyad Mayet, who rather crudely brought him down. Yellow card going his way. It was almost as though the former Adelaide United man was playing a playground game of leapfrog against the Port Melbourne defender. Took a tumble and got the free kick for his troubles. Floated in by Guest to the back post. That one bobbling around. And it will be a Port Melbourne free kick. You were motioning a push there, Josh, so you being the former referee, I'll back your judgment in. Full time at Olympic Village, by the way, so if this goes as it probably should from here, Oakleigh will make up 2 points on Heidelberg, who have drop points for the first time in a long, long while. 2-2 against St Albans. Curtis over the top towards Farrow. Play towards Kasimovic. Kloski got up. Connor Hampson reading it well. Kasimovic with a flick on. Nicely played by Mitch Strachevsky. Trying to help his team forwards. On a foul, beaten to the ball there.
Hey, Milos, bro, how do you walk past us? Hey, you didn't see
It's
us.
as though Port Melbourne are looking to their reinforcements again. All down the line. Giving something to chase. And in a Dench. Advantage played by Jock Quartermain. Taken down one by McCloskey. Played it infield. It was an errant one intended for Liston Diaz. So Oakleigh set away. Guess with a heavy first touch. Strong sliding challenge from Muyet. Ball over towards Diaz. Wrote kindly for Nicholas Dibb. Delano Farrow. Rolls it across. Charge down. Nicholas Dibb tried something. Kasimovic couldn't keep it in, and maybe this will present an avenue for the change. Tom Alessandratos will be coming on here for Port. And it's Oliver Yankolovsky who will be taken off, not at all like for like. Yankolovsky, a towering centre half. Alessandratos, a tricky forward player. McCloskey takes over. Towards Diaz. Under hit as Boyce won the header. Maker. Good play from Port Melbourne. Sent into the middle. And away by Jacob Trapp. Much better from the side from JL Murphy.
Yeah, certainly. As it looks like Maker might have dropped back into that centre back role, which is Port trying to lift something, and that's a lovely touch and bring down from Diaz. Trying to get it out onto his feet, and he couldn't. And it's flashing shot, fires it miles over, and we're going. And Jock's given out as a corner. Well, he's clearly heard and seen a deflection there. Despite Oakleigh's questions, he's more than happy with his decision, and it gives him a chance to maintain this pressure and swing a ball in.
I tell you what, when you talk to any striker who's ever played football ever, they absolutely love it when they've blazed a shot over the top, they're not sure it's taken a deflection and it's given us a corner. Always looks a little bit better.
Yes, certainly. As a, I can't say that personally myself. I was a goalkeeper and a defender for a very short footballing career. As it's same set play as the first corner they had in the first half, and again turns into nothing, and it's a bit of a wasted opportunity to put Oakleigh defenders under pressure, and they try and do a set routine and go around the outside, and it turns into nothing. And Nick Feely certainly won't be rushing to get the ball and take this. And I'll be wondering, Oakleigh 3-0 up. CT's not renowned for making many subs, let alone early subs. It's well into the 80th plus minute that he does make a sub. It's opportunity for him to use the bench. Let's see if he does use it.
Header one by Dench, who got it back from Salmon. Options arriving in the middle. Salmon at the top of the box. Looked promising from an Oakleigh point of view, but actually came unstuck. And Chris Taylor, in the time that he's been manager of Oakleigh, has been very, very happy with the 11s he's had at his disposal. And I suppose if you're happy with it, it's the old cliche of if it isn't broke, don't fix it. When you look at the silverware he's won in Victorian football, it's a fair philosophy, as Riyad Miet was fouled. Dib. Krzyzewski. Maker. Small blocked. Romic nearly hits the roof. Slammed into a glass pane. Whoever's fitted that one, glad that it has been shattered and thus needed replacing. All this talk of this new grandstand, I just want to see the ribbon cut off and that be opened, which hopefully it is before the end of the NPL Men's Victoria season. Not exactly sure whether that will be a bit of an ambitious deadline, but I suppose as fans of the game we can dream. Boyce for Kasumovic. His cross was blocked for the first time asking by me yet. Back with Boyce, who drove it in. Salmon there. Boyce again. Salmon towards Kasumovic. Finally, Port Melbourne can find a way out. They might have done if the pass wasn't ill-directed and picked off by Sinclair. Strong. Hampson. Clever by Sinclair to let the ball run across his body. Got free of Diaz and Joe Guest. Over for Hampson. He gets it central towards Salmon, who got their head of Maker. Salmon with the cross. Eventually high and away by Krzyzewski. Sinclair underneath it. Controlled it on the thigh. Maybe via the use of the hand too. And a free kick for handball given by Jock Quartermain. Maybe it was thigh and hand. The best way to describe that, free kick report in any case.
Yeah, certainly sounded very, very skinny. It was, you can hear that slap on their forearm there, and rightly done by Jock there. It was handball every day of the week. As the game hits that lull in the pushing into the 70th minute mark now, with Port struggling to turn into anything, and it's almost a turnover from Sinclair there. But Port survive for the moment. Dench manages to keep the ball in, drives all the way in, finds Salmon, who turns and hits it. Lovely turn, but straight at Romic. Romic will be thankful for that. Oh, another one end to the other. As I said, there was a low in the game. It certainly picked up. Should have said that earlier. Both teams go end to end. And Dibbs trying to muster up something, gives the ball away. He's got to be careful to not foul him, and he almost does. Managed to skip past, and it was the right idea of a good ball forward from Kasumovic, but couldn't find Salmon. And another slip. Sinclair can capitalise into Salmon's feet, and yes, rightly so. Looked straight across for the offside. Salmon knew it as well. No complaints from him, despite one fan thinking screaming and happy with one goal, but we brought back for the offside. And you can tell Salmon's a smart enough player, he knows, and he won't complain if he's definitely offside, and he didn't say a word there.
Kasimovic receive it back off Alex Salmon. He's arriving in the middle. It's another early ball. That one will go behind for a corner. Cavalry will arrive forward. Was the best efforts there of Krzyzewski to try and keep the ball from going behind. Get it out for a throw. For the stoppage time goal against the Dandenong Thunder. Dandenong City have equalised there as the corner's sent in. Ball again bobbling around in a way. Second time in as many league games that the Thunder have conceded in stoppage time. Delano Ferro striding forward for Port Melbourne. Diaz to his left. He finds Liston Diaz. He'll try and send it in. Meat and drink for Nick Feely. Hampson towards Dench from one end to the other. The former Charlton Athletic man, he went early with the cross. Kasimovic will recycle it for Oakleigh. So Kasimovic, he goes over. A rather needless foul from Riyad Moyet. And if not on a yellow, I wonder if there would have been a yellow brought out there. I'm not sure if that's a thinking with referees. You're probably the perfect person to ask about not giving yellows if players are already on yellow cards. Of course, it's up to the discretion of the referee every time. And I'm not a referee, as Guest takes that one quickly in towards the middle. I feel like this game has been refereed well, though, by John Quartermain. It's forward from Kasimovic to Guest. Back to Asad Kasimovic. He'll send it in. Not fully cleared. Strong. Trying to make a play on it. Hampson played it over. Kept by Dench. Salmon back towards him. Almost misjudged by Maker. Here's Hampson. He sends it central towards Alex Salmon, who put a hand up appreciating the intentions. And it goes for a corner. So another Cannon's corner. Sent in. First to it there, McCloskey of Port Melbourne. On a Pharaoh. It's a strong challenge on the Kurtzis. Fair according to the referee, but so I'll just hold to just so Jonathan Kurtzis can have his well-being checked on. Mentioned earlier on in the piece that Oakleigh will travel to Sunshine next week to face the Melbourne Knights. It's a trip out west too for Port Melbourne, who will take on Green Gully. As Chris Taylor will go to his bench. See Adam Juratovic come on here for Oakleigh. 74th minute. And it will be Asad Kasimovic, who will be taken off. It's later than most managers would make their first change, earlier than Chris Taylor usually makes his. But he has got some handy players on the bench, including Adam Juratovic, who scored 13 goals in BPL 1 in the part of Melbourne Victory's promotion season. As Brody Boyce is down. Few words directed at Jock Watermain. We halted that. A drop ball here for Delano Ferro for Melbourne. Rolls it across. Brown lost it. Chance for Oakleigh to move forward again. Strong. Found Oakleigh's Joe Guest. Rolled it left. Dench towards Salmon. Tried to get a foot to it and couldn't quite. Boy slipping. Daniel Serra, by the looks, to come on here for the Sharks. Yet, over the top. Good stretch by Jordan Hall. Maker is Connor Hampson up and over halfway. Another early delivery for Juratovic. Strefsky will get that one away. As far as Sinclair, who got the goal scoring going earlier on in the piece. Juratovic getting involved with Dench down the left. The ball that doesn't clear the front post. Delano Ferro attempts to skip away. We'll have to roll it back for Mayette. Dench stretching. Made one EFL trophy appearance for Charlton. His time at the club. Back flick from Salmon. Here is Adam Juratovic. Checking onto the right and blocked by Mayette. They have got attacking options aplenty, the Cannons. They've shown that tonight. And will across the rest of the season, you would think too. As we've got a corner, but the change will happen before. Delano Ferro making his way off for Daniel Serra.
Ferro did pull up a couple of times on the last two sprints he did. A bit short, so maybe a bit of management from him, save him for some more crucial games. As the ball gets whipped in, chat at the back, acrobatical, and a bit of a defender's bicycle kick, to say, nonetheless. But the attempt was there. And the goal scorer, full of confidence, trying that back, well, bicycle kick of some sort. We'll call it a bicycle kick. As manages to weave his way through. Maker. Dib, not on the same wavelength as the freshman's up. And again, they're not in any rush to take it. Gardovic has come on, the ex-Victory man, winning them promotion with the NPL team. He's struggled a little bit in the NPL senior ranks with Oakleigh this year. In a few cameos, Salmon's been missing a few games, so he's had his chances and opportunities. Just hasn't capitalised too much on it yet, but blooding in some good youth talent is always happy from CT. As Dib tosses the ball back in to try and get something out of it from Port Melbourne. A positive to finish on as we tick into the last 10 minutes of the game. Whipped in. Saar has a hit. It was curling, but not curling enough. He gets something on it. And fresh legs might cause some trouble down this near side. It's a big ask to turn the game. As with 10 minutes to go, a couple of Oakleigh fans have seen enough and said, yep, that'll do us, as they wander off.
Given some of their frustrations, I've been somewhat eavesdropping, given that they're overlords. I'm not sure they're Oakleigh fans, and that's probably why they're heading for the exit door.
Take that one back. There's Port fans have seen enough and happy to say, we'll try again next week.
Can't say for sure, but they were reacting to certain moments if they were Port Melbourne fans. If you told me they were Port Melbourne fans, every reaction they made would make sense, which would also explain why they're heading for the exits. Over towards Liston Diaz. Combines there with the Curtsis. Ball into the middle, curling shot into the corner. Tom Alessandro Artos, and maybe some of those Port fans should stick around. One back. Good effort from Tom Alessandro Artos. Nick Feely beaten for the first time tonight. It's a 5th goal of the campaign for Tom Alessandro Artos. A wonderful finish and something for Sharks fans to smile about.
Yeah, fabulous finish from top of the box there. And can it breathe some life into this, or is Oakleigh going to seal it out? But CT, I had a quick glance at CT after that goal, and he didn't look happy about conceding. Clean sheet was beckoning, and may have it's been Oakleigh's downfall this year. They haven't kept many clean sheets. It's something with the experience they've got in that back 4, or even back 5 with Feely as well. They'd be quite disappointed as you see Port getting a sub ready, and in here has a hit. Lovely save in the end, and Feely lucky to get a hand to it to really save his blushes and save his defensive blushes there. They were caught as statues there.
Oh, and McCloskey with a hit. Now, if Port Melbourne would score again, then almost everything's out the window. And it's taken short. Nick Dibb to send it in high. Not fully dealt with from an Oakleigh point of view. That header clear will help. Sent back in by Serra towards Maker. Trachevsky with some fancy feet. He rolls it forward, but gave it to Boyce. Trachevsky back on it for Curtis. Much better this in the second half from Port Melbourne. They can take a lot out of this. Nick did play the ball short. They're all slipping and sliding here at Jack Edwards. Sinclair. Sinclair. Transvich was making the run in behind. Went shorter to Salmon, who was fouled. We're about to see Dalziel Beale come on for an NPL Men's Victoria debut. Now this is a path to the NPLMVIC Victoria competition not well travelled. He's a senior Cook Islands international. 4 appearances for that national team. He'll take the place of Mitch Trachevsky. Comes across from Matavira FC in the Cook Islands. Has also spent time previously in the State League 3 competition here in Victoria with the Bayside Argonauts and Brighton. So Bayside Argonauts, Brighton, the Cook Islands and Port Melbourne. What a journey that is. As Guest takes it quickly. Salmon first time. Not sure if that was a cross or a shot. But an opportunity knock there for Alex Salmon, and one that he would usually take.
Oh, Bayside Argonauts, Brighton, Cook Islands, they're all sunny. They're all nice sunny beach. So I did actually see him last season play for Bayside, so he is handy. And with Bayside Argonauts having the likes of Mitch Cooper and a few other ex-NPL players, he's bedded a pedigree. So let's see if he can match it in the senior NPL.
Sarah. Maker. Nick Dibb. Been a crazy game. Again in the southeast of Melbourne. We'll talk to you about it in a moment. The ball towards the back post. Looking perhaps from McCloskey. A long ball forward will disappear through to Luka Romic. This might be a good time as any. So we told you that the Dandenong Thunder had conceded a stoppage time equaliser. They then went and found a stoppage time winner from Yuki Yoshida to make it 2-1. And following that, Dandenong City in the 99th minute were forced down to 10 with a red card. What a game of football. Or the tonight even, they had a red card early in the game, excuse me. As Guest went with the switch. Dench for Alex Salmon. Infield, shoots, scores! And that makes a certainty of it. Alex Salmon doubling down. Oakleigh back with a 3-goal lead. And they'll be heading away from Jack Edwards with all 3 points. Port Melbourne's 12-year wait for a win in Oakleigh will continue. And it is that man again, Alex Salmon, tonight with goals 6 and 7 on his season. Oh, it's a good night to be an Oakleigh fan, if you are one.
Yeah, textbook finish from Salmon there, and keeps adding to his tally, just trotting along. He has to thank the lovely ball into him, to be honest, but Port Melbourne probably caught a little bit throwing men forwards and outnumbered. You can't leave Salmon like that. Too much space as everybody goes slipping and sliding there again. Even Feely goes slipping and sliding as well. But Salmon hit in form again. And you can never write off Alex Salmon, and that's why his signature is highly sought after. And considering this is his 126th NPL, senior NPL game, and that tally puts him to 80 goals. So that return ratio is up there with the best, and that's why he's highly sought after. And there's still room for more here, and that's a fabulous strike. And that's what Guest can do on his left. If he's left alone and on his left peg as well, dangerous.
Yeah, the only drawback to that hit was that it was central, but otherwise couldn't have caught it much sweeter. A yard either side, it might have been 5 for Oakleigh, but it's a good point you make. Joe Guest can do that at the drop of a hat, too. Didn't have much time to think about it.
No, and the ball gets dropped into the box, edge of the top of the box, has a hit, and it's straight into the hands of Romic. He looks to try and play quickly, but wasteful ball when the ball comes towards us. There's a sub looks to be coming on. No, it's added time. We'll see what we're going to have.
I don't think anybody fancied that, did they? There was 4 or 5 of us in front of the guard, so just trying every way to evade it. Brown fouled. I'm just glad it didn't go towards me, because my lack of agility would have been very funny for everybody else to watch, but wouldn't have been fun for me in the moment. Came to a halt a couple of rows in front of me, so that was fine. All's well that ends well. Did meanwhile with a free kick. That will go through to Feely. We're going to move into 3 added minutes. I think this is one that if both captains shook hands right now and said, yep, we'll have the full-time whistle, they'd probably both take it. Probably all except for Ajak Dayu, who's going to see some minutes here off the bench for Oakleigh. Former Western United NPL defender. Might get an appearance bonus, but other than that, I don't think he'll have too meaningful a contribution to make, given his side of 4-1 up and he's a centre half. Dayu lost it. Chance for Liston Diaz, and Feely smartly down at the ball quickly to spare the blushes of the most recent Oakleigh substitute. This forwards. Towards the right hand side here, Port Melbourne. Liston Diaz will get there. Ball has gone out of play. Another change here for Oakleigh, Roy Gregory. Last couple of minutes. His second appearance of the campaign and 4th in his career. Former South Melbourne and Glen Ira Junior. Made his NPL debut back in 2024 in the game against Green Gully in the June of that year. Kingsley Sinclair, by the way, was the man he replaced. Good night for him with a goal, helping contribute to a 3-goal win that will give them 3 points. Seems like an age ago that he opened the scoring inside the opening 10 minutes. More from Serra. Taken down well by Diaz, who then gave the foul away. Bit cheap there on Connor Hampson, as eyes start to turn to the referee, and a few more. Perhaps trying to beat the rush. And you can't blame him with a full-time whistle. Now sounding around Jack Edwards. Oakleigh win again at home against Port Melbourne. There's a reason why Port Melbourne haven't been able to buy a win here. And that waits for a result. They were looking for their first since 2013, the Sharks in Oakleigh goes on. Kingsley Sinclair got them going. Alex Salmon added a goal in the first and the second half. And also to Connor Hampson for a 4-goal night for Oakleigh. It was a good strike from Tom Alessandratos to give the Port Melbourne faithful something to shout about, but overall wasn't a great night for those from JL Murphy. Full time from Jack Edwards Reserve in Oakleigh. It's finished. Oakleigh 4, Port Melbourne 1. Josh Byrne.
Yeah, textbook from Oakleigh. They'll be happy not too much to write home about, but work for Max and his new coaching staff at Port Melbourne. They've got a bit of work to do, but a chance to get back on winning ways against Green Gully next week as Oakleigh head to another cellar dwellers of Melbourne Knights down at Somerset Street Reserve. We've been your commentators. Thank you for joining us, and remember to log on to YouTube NPL Victoria for the rest of the weekend's actions. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.